Okay. Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie Henderson. I do motherhood and lifestyle content. I feel like a lot has happened in the past month. Sam is gonna be a month old tomorrow. Today is May 29th. If this is the first time you're coming to my channel, I'll put a link right here explaining everything before now. But I just wanted to go ahead and put that option here if you don't know what's going on. I'll also put a link in the description box so that you can go check out why we're here and why our life is the way that it is right now. But for those of you that have been following, you all know that Sam is here. Golly, I'm gonna start crying before I even really get started. Sam's here and he's a month old and we've already gone through a lot already in a month. I'm gonna do the really sweet good things first and then kind of do some updates after that. He was extubated on May 26th, so a little bit before 4 weeks old. And whenever I say extubated, that means they took the tube from his mouth and his nose out. That was really exciting because that meant a lot for Sam and for us. That was the second time they had tried to extubate him, and the first time he didn't do well. They had to re-intubate him and they had to wait a whole week and let him wean and do this whole process before trying again. So they tried again the next week and it was successful, and it was so exciting because he was intubated right at birth. So when they do that, the tube goes all the way down and is pressing on his vocal cords. They're not able to actually physically cry. He would make facial expressions that he was crying, but nothing would come out. And so we finally got to hear his little cry. And it was really raspy, and it's still really raspy because it's only been a few days. But it was the tiniest little sweet cry. And so that was really exciting to hear. We finally got to see his face because even whenever he was born, they took him so quickly from us that we didn't see his face without having the tubes and all the tape like right here. So we really only saw this portion, and he had some stickers on his head. So we really felt like we didn't know what he looked like until he was extubated. So that was exciting, getting to see his little face and all his little features. He looks so much like Nora, it's crazy. The day after getting extubated was our 4th year anniversary. We were hoping to hold him that day because normally they like to wait 24 hours after being extubated for like the parents to hold the baby. But because this was his second attempt getting extubated, they wanted him to do one more day, so they didn't let us hold him until 48 hours after being extubated. We finally got to hold him for the first time yesterday, and it was really, really precious. I'm surprised I didn't get super emotional whenever I held him. I think I didn't really, like, I was kind of anxious to hold him and nervous. Well, he still actually has a lot attached to him, so it's just kind of nerve-wracking. And also too, it's hard. I know I had a baby, but because I haven't been able to hold him for a month, I really didn't feel like he was my baby. So I'm having all those emotions too at the same time, but it's really exciting that we finally get to hold him. But I guess the next thing is I wanted to share kind of the big news that we kind of haven't been sharing. It's kind of two things, and I've just been waiting to share because one, I needed time to process it, and yeah, we just needed time before we shared something. On Tuesday of this week, so May 24th, we got a call from a geneticist because they sent off some blood work for Sam when he was first born to see if he had any other genetic conditions or disorders. And so we got the results back, and she called us, let us know that he is missing chromosome 8 and his chromosome 12 is duplicated, and they were going to explain more to us later that day once we got to the hospital. I wanted to wait for Chip to look up what that meant for Sam. Like, I wanted to just Google it immediately, and he was talking to the neighbors outside, and so I was just waiting for him to come inside, but then I was getting impatient, so I just went ahead and looked it up, and I read what that was gonna mean for Sam, and Chip came in and just held me. I can't even read my paper. He had a lot of physical features that, or little things that they kept telling us about as we were going to see him in the hospital. It's like they kept telling us more and more things were wrong with him, and we were just really confused. And because of this information now, we know where a lot of those things stem from. Well, they stem from his genetic disorder or disability. I don't even know what to say or how to say it. CDH and his hole in his heart, the VSD, is both from missing that chromosome 8. He also has a lot of extra skin on the back of his neck, really his whole neck. And that's just a physical trait from that. Also, his ears are tilted back. He also has pectus. I don't know the full name, but he has a pectus where like his chest has like a hole and a dip in it, or his chest has a dip in it, so it like goes in when he breathes, which is pretty normal for CDH babies, but he has that. He also has low muscle tone on his legs. Like his whole upper body looks pretty normal, but then his legs look like he has like no muscles. And he also has a few other issues that I just don't really feel like mentioning right now, but it's just kind of all that goes together with this diagnosis. And he also is likely to have mental and developmental issues growing up. And they don't know the severity of what that would look like. It could be mild, it could be extremely severe until he's older and we can kind of see where he is developmentally. But that's why I was so upset, because whenever I read what that would mean and it said he could be mentally retarded, and Chip came in, and I feel like we went all the way back to when they told us he had CDH. It's like we have a whole new diagnosis all over again. And it's just hard to know that your baby's not gonna have like a normal life. And so we're just like, how much longer are we gonna be here? Like, does that prolong him being in the hospital? Is he gonna leave with a G-tube or need a wheelchair eventually? Like, we just don't know what it's gonna look like for him. And that's hard too, to not know how to prepare, you know, your life for this big change. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that 2 weeks after he was born, we decided, I don't even know how to start saying this, we decided to permanently move here to Florida. This is something we kind of always had in mind, that this could be what ends up happening, but I wasn't okay with leaving Greenville. I think Greenville was like my way of picking everything back to normal, like being able to have that picture, that vision of us taking Sam back to our home. But we decided when he was 2 weeks old that we were going to move here permanently. We didn't know when he was going to be discharged. Also, the fact that our family has been separate and Chip has been working in South Carolina, and me and Nora have been here in Florida. That has been one of the hardest parts of all of this, is our family's not together right now, and we need to be together. It's too much to not all be together, and that was the main reason. And the other reasons were, we're fully covered through insurance here, and we don't know what it would look like going back to South Carolina and getting care, especially now with more complications. It's just a lot more tricky with insurance and getting the proper medical care Sam needs. And especially now after finding out this new diagnosis and everything, we feel even more at peace that we're here, because like we're gonna have a lot of specialists that we'll be dealing with, cardiologists, neurologists, possible speech and physical therapists, and along with Dr. K's, seeing him and having checkups with him, which he's the one that did Sam's CDH surgery repair and is taking care of Sam now. Just making sure he has the proper care is a huge thing. So we've decided to officially move here, which I sound really sad, but we are excited. Like, this is a new adventure for our family and everything, but at the same time it's really hard to say goodbye to your home when you're not really ready to leave. And it's been really hard, I think, for me too, because we left, it was an emergency situation, so I was 27 weeks when we left Greenville to come here, and I haven't been back since. And I won't be back until, I don't know when we'll go back and visit or anything like that. Like, I don't know. Chip is gonna sell his clients and his business, pack up all our stuff and move down here in the next month. It just is really hard because I feel like I haven't really been able to process leaving Greenville, and I just don't know when I'm gonna go back, and that's just hard. And of course, like, I had my vision of us all being back together as a family in our home that we've worked really hard to be such a sweet little home to our family. And I'm just gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss our little house, our little townhouse that was so small but so perfect for our little family. I'm gonna miss our church. I loved our church community and the people that have surrounded us the whole time we've been there. I'm gonna miss our friends and community that we've made. And it's hard too to see your husband work so hard to build a business that supports your family in a way that the life that we've wanted, for me to be home with our babies, and it's hard to see him give that away. But he's such a good husband and dad, because he's worked so hard and he's willing to give all that up so that we can be together as a family. I have a really good husband, and he's such a good dad. And this means we can all be together through all this. I'm gonna try to, like, stop crying so I can actually talk. I just kind of want to check in too and say how I'm doing right now. I'm not doing great. Like, I have good days, and then I have days where I feel like this, where I'm just angry. I have days that I don't want to hear anything positive or anyone say nice things, and that sounds so weird, but it's like, I'm so angry. But I know it's gonna be okay. Getting his diagnosis with CDH, I went through these same emotions, and I was angry for a while. I feel guilty because I don't feel connected with my baby, and I dealt with that with Nora, but I feel like I'm dealing with this with him because I haven't been able to hold him for a month. So I feel like I don't know him, and I feel like this newborn stage is being taken away. Like, he's 1 month old, and I feel like I don't even know him. I feel like that newborn bliss is just gone because we just stare at him in this little plastic box. And I smell, this sounds crazy, but I smell him all the time. Like, we'll be home, or we'll be at a restaurant, or we'll be outside, and I just can smell
his scent. That sounds so crazy, but I smell him and then I think about him, and if I think about him a lot, like, my milk lets down. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's not really that crazy. God made us to be like that, but it's just, I long to have him in my arms so bad. But not just in my arms, but home and with our little family, and it's just hard. It's really hard. And then I'm also feeling guilty because I feel like I'm so emotionally drained from everything with Sam that I feel like I'm not being a good mom right now to Nora. I feel like I don't know how to handle her right now because she's stepping into being more of a toddler and normal toddler things, and I feel like I'm not even there to even work with her on stuff. But something else that I'm struggling with is he's still getting fed through an IV, and I'm still pumping every day and taking my milk to the milk depot at the hospital where they're storing it for me. And I don't know when we're gonna get to try to breastfeed or even bottle feed, because he has heart surgery in the next few weeks to fix his VSD, and I don't know when they're gonna want to start us trying to feed or anything like that, because he's gonna have to get re-intubated to do the surgery. So I'm not really sure like when that even is gonna happen. And two, this might seem silly, but I'm also like, will we even get to try to breastfeed? Because I don't know if mentally, like his genetic disorder, if that will affect him at all with that, or like make it more difficult. I don't know. I just like, I don't really know what to think about anything now, and I feel like everything's kind of just getting taken away. So today's been hard. Like I said, we have really good days, and then we have really, really crappy days. And today's just a hard one. And I say all this not to get sympathy or make somebody feel like they have to make me feel better, because no one right now is really going to make me feel better. It's just going to be time and the Lord, like that's it. But I say all this because sometimes when I talk about what I'm going through, it helps me cope with it, and it helps me feel like I'm kind of laying some of my load down. And so I just kind of wanted to share, to be real too, because I've had a lot of people message me and say that I'm doing great and that they don't know how I'm doing great emotionally. But I want to show too that even if I'm posting just only the good things, that we're still going through a lot emotionally. Again, I guess this was more of a sad video, but I just needed to kind of share what's been going on, what new things are happening with us and our family. But I know we're gonna be okay, and I know it's all gonna work out, and I know God has a plan for us here in Florida, and we're here and we're able to have really good care for Sam. But at the same time, I feel like it's okay if I just grieve for a little bit. But anyways, hopefully the next video will be a lot more upbeat and happy, but at the same time, I'm just sharing this journey and all the parts of it. And God's still good, and He's still with us, even when we're going through these hard times. And I know He's still there. That doesn't change. Being sad doesn't change any of that. It's just something we're going through. And we appreciate everyone that's praying over us and that's doing so much for us. Thank you guys for coming to my channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.